It was like watching a slow-motion train wreck. Joe Biden was trying to prove he's capable at the NATO summit, but he made two huge gaffes in the process. So, can Joe survive?
President Putin.
That's not my name.
Biden hasn't seen this many people jump ship since he vacationed on the Titanic.
That's not my name.
Vice President Trump.
That's not my name.
Oh no, Joe, it could be time to go.
I really think his own people want him to fish or cut bait.
For President Biden, there's no hiding from this.
And now I want to hand it over to the President of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin. He's going to beat President Putin. President Zelensky.
Confusing the Ukraine president with his Russian nemesis.
I'm so focused on beating Putin, we got to worry about it. Anyway, Mr. President.
I'm better.
You are a hell of a lot better.
Then calling his vice president by the name of his own arch-enemy.
What concerns do you have about Vice President Harris's ability to beat Donald Trump if she were at the top of the ticket?
Look, I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president. So let's start there.
At a time when Biden's ability to lead is coming under intense scrutiny, two major gaffes in 2 hours, ricocheting around the world, rattling Democrats to the core.
Our party, the Democrat Party, is like a dead man walking.
Gavin Buckley's the mayor of Annapolis.
I can't imagine it's going to get better. I hope it is, but if you reference the New York Times article with George Clooney, he is saying, look, we love you, now step aside and make sure that we win.
Yes, even Hollywood star and hardcore Democrat backer George Clooney called on his old friend to exit stage left, and that was before Biden's latest blunders.
People are saying that the Joe Biden from even 4 or 5 months ago is not the same Joe Biden on the stage now.
Come on!
In 2016, the president was a force to be reckoned with.
We are America, second to none, and we own the finish line.
But as the saying goes, time and tide waits for no man.
The group from the South Pacific, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Australia. I already mentioned Australia.
I just think that it's coming to a close for him, but he's the only one that's got to make that decision.
Former White House Clinton staffer turned political commentator Laura Schwartz.
You can imagine the memes, the GIFs, the social media of the gaffes are really just revving up the internet right now.
And here are just a few. The comedy of errors, no laughing matter for the Democrats.
I think the senior leadership should address this. But first of all, his family should address this. His family should let him know he has done historic things. Thank him. But say, you should enjoy, your later years and you could watch what's happening.
Commentators say Team Trump will be hoping Biden digs in for the election.
The Trump team, as much as they're elated over Joe Biden's poor performances, they want to run against Joe Biden. They have all the opposition research against Joe Biden. They have had their playbook ready for Joe Biden for years.
Right now, Donald Trump is using that to mock your age and your memory.
Listen to him.
You say goodbye, and I say hello.
I believe the longer he takes to get out, the crueler history will be to him.
I don't know why you say goodbye, I say hello.
I'm joined now by former Australian Foreign Minister Bob Carr. Mr. Carr, you know politics, you know US politics. Can President Biden survive this?
He had no room for another mistake, not calling Zelensky Putin and not confusing Trump with Kamala Harris. He just did not have room for more mistakes so soon after that debate. So I think the move to persuade him to do the right thing by the party is simply going to gather pace.
Yeah, 2 bad gaffes in one day is far from ideal. Look, in Australia, we are very good at ditching leaders from parties. What's the process in America? Can he dig in his heels, or can they get rid of him?
Well, he's an elected president. He doesn't owe his position to having a majority in the Parliament or in the Congress. That's the position of an Australian Prime Minister, but he's been elected by the electorate at large through an electoral college, and he doesn't depend on majority support among the Democrats in the House of Representatives or the Senate. So he can dig in. And a large part of Biden's psychology is to do just that. He's effectively standing in the middle of the highway and defying them to run him down. And the drivers, all the Democrats on that highway, are reluctant to perform an act of regicide.
But after today, the momentum would only have grown.
Yeah, and they're thinking of their self-interest the way a member of a caucus, a parliamentary party in Australia, is thinking, gee, am I going to hold my seat if we stick with this leader? So there are people who are standing for Congress, standing for the Senate, hoping to get re-elected, who are thinking their chances down the ticket, as they call it in America, are going to be sacrificed if the guy at the head of the ticket, the guy running for their party for president, is seen as a fumbling and aged incompetent.
I noticed Donald Trump's taken a small swipe at him, but it seemed pretty half-hearted. You know, do you think he'd like Biden to be his opponent?
Trump would be getting advice from his party machine on all the alternatives. And I think if he had a preference, it would be for an alternative to Biden to struggle in as the leader of a divided party and then be carved up by this brash, confident guerrilla called Donald Trump.
So could someone else beat Trump? Is Biden the best chance? They're in quite a quandary, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a real mixed picture. You've got a large part of the electorate giving up on Biden because they imagine how he is going to deteriorate over 4 years. But on the other hand, you've got the divisiveness, the rancour that would go with a move at the convention being held next month to defy the president, to create a scene where he's forced to step down. I can't see that happening. It's going to have to be persuasion. It's going to have to be him and his wife being persuaded that really he's unsustainable.
So are we staring down the barrel of a second Trump presidency, do you think?
Well, I looked at the polls today. He's ahead, mostly marginally ahead in the key battleground states. If Trump moderates his behaviour just a little, if he attempts to appear more responsible and more unifying a figure, then it's hard to imagine Biden not being defeated, not being relegated to having been a one-term president who lost the presidency for his party because he selfishly clung on when he should have given it away at the start of the year.
Either way, have we got a weakened ally in America?
I think we've got to, behind closed doors and when we're talking amongst ourselves, figure that America is going to be politically polarised, hopelessly divided, unable to make many big decisions and capable of getting more and more things wrong. We've seen them get Afghanistan, Iraq and decades ago Vietnam hopelessly wrong. This is a blind giant stumbling around the stage. America's judgment is really disturbed at this time. You can see this as an extended nervous breakdown by a once great nation. And it's very sad, but Australians are going to have to contemplate that we may no longer have a steady, clear-headed ally. This America is full of pathologies and split right down the middle.
It's a frightening prospect. Mr. Carr, thank you.
My pleasure.